Hey y'all, it's Hobo, Steve, Hobo with Wood. So the Louisiana Hobby Guy put out a video the other day asking for some help celebrating a little man's birthday. And so I'm taking this opportunity to familiarize myself with my CNC and to try and make my first successful project, combining the use of my CNC and the laser. So let's cross our fingers and see how this goes. And hopefully it doesn't all pop. All right, so this is in Easel, and I've got a little simple 5x7 card that I'm going to try and do a carve of that image, and then cut the image, or cut that 5x7 out, and then bring that project over to the xTool to do the engraving and the personalization. So let's cross our fingers and see how well we do. All right, so this is a piece of, I think this was the birch ply that I'd made a box out of, and now I've got this area here that I can clean up and make this 5x7 card with. I'm going to use the tape method, and I will secure it here. I have a piece of MDF on top of my spoil board, but I've learned that when you zero the X-Carve, it's not necessarily coming over here to zeros on this grid. You need to zero your project to a fixed point on your board you're going to be carving. That way, this is 0, 0. These numbers down here become irrelevant. This point is 0, 0, and working from this point outward is your design and your work area. So it makes sense once I figured her out. So let me get the machine set up and calibrated to this being 0 point, and then I'll get the rest of this up and running. Okay, so this is design number 2 attempt. I have set my new 0 position to the corner here. My plan is to cut out a 5x7 card in this area. I have everything set up. All I have to do is turn the spindle on and hit the carve button and turn the vacuum on. So let's see if we blow this thing up or get it right the second time around. Spindle's on. And these things are, once you get this vacuum going with the spindle, it's almost like standing beside a jet plane. You almost know. You should have ear protection. And that'll be one of the next things I invest in. All right, so the spindle is on. I'm ready to carve. Let's turn the vacuum on. And cross our fingers that nothing blows up.
Everybody shake it, baby. Everybody shake it, baby. baby.
I think we got the decent beginnings of a birthday card for a first-time CNCer. So let's get her off the work table and get her to the laser. Okay, so that was pretty successful with the CNC. I did try and do some cuts yesterday and failed miserably. So technically this was my second attempt, but this was my first successful engraving and cutout of a project, and I feel good with what it is now. As I learn more, I'll get better, but this turned out pretty nice. It's going to make a nice little 5x7 birthday plaque. So I'm going to take it, place it on the laser bed, do some personalized engraving, and then I'll cut out an easel that you can slide together and then set that on there. And then that'll be just a little plaque that you can sit on a trophy shelf or in the back of the closet or in the trash can. But this will be it's a fun opportunity for me to learn to use the CNC and incorporate both tools. So let's jump in here to Lightburn and show you what I plan to do. So I went online and looked for some suggestions for SVGs and birthdays, and I never really liked being called the birthday boy. Hey, it's the birthday boy. Okay, well, I was getting older and I didn't want to be called the birthday boy, so we're going to go with the birthday dude. And I'm going to take this image and do a little twist on it. Instead of it being the birthday dude, it's going to be the birthday dude. So I'm going to be emphasizing the dude, and birthday will be there. And see how the sunglasses are kind of overlapping birthday here? We're going to do that too. I'll show you how you can create that effect. And we're going to make the stars. We're going to create something similar to this, but totally unique from scratch. So I want to have those words in different size fonts. So to do that, we're going to create each word individually of itself. And I have selected the curls font, and that may change, but the next word, birthday, and the next word, dude. Okay, so I want to have the dude being the prominent words on here. So it's the, and we're going to make dude just slightly larger than the. Birthday can be a little bit bigger, but not as big. And I don't need birthday to be bold. There we go, that helps. And then just kind of, we don't want these to overlap, but all right. Now let's make some stars. And the way to make the stars, we come over here to our polygon tool, put our shift key and draw out a polygon. We need to put it on a path that's in line mode. And now we need to go to shape properties. Now, if you don't have your shape properties tab opened over here in your menus, you can go to your select tool, and with the polygon selected, right click, and here's show properties. And show properties is shape properties. And just click on that, and that'll bring you to the shape properties. We want to have 5 sides instead of 6. So you'll watch our polygon up there change to a hexagon. And now we've got the hexagon. We just select it. I want to zoom in where I can see it better. Go to our line draw tool, our pencil. Come down here till we get our crosshairs. And why it didn't do that, I don't know. All right, go to our crosshairs, click, come to our crosshairs, click, again, again, and one more time. Okay, now our select tool. Now you see that our hexagon's what's selected, so we can delete it. Select our star, go to our offset tool over here, and we want to do a 0 offset with corners. Doesn't matter if it's inward or outward because we're doing 0 offset. That's going to create a duplicate right on top of this one. But since it's doing the offset, it's only going to create the outline. So when we say OK, you've got two shapes here, and right now it defaults to the offset you just created, the last shape you created. So if you select anywhere out of it and then still on your select tool, select that inner hexagon, and now you'll see that's the only thing that's highlighted because your offset copy didn't have those 5 lines in it. So with that selected, if you move it over, you'll see that's the original star. Just hit your delete key, and now you're left with just a nice outline of a star. So now we're going to zoom out, and we're going to put that on our original path, and we're going to make some copies. Actually select it, Control D, move it, not Shift D, Control D, move it out of the way, Control D, move it out of the way, and let's get 3 more, Control D. And actually, I could have selected all 3 of those. It done this in one swoop once I had 3 copies. Control D. All right. Now I'm going to stagger these sizes. So, and actually I should have held my control button to keep it locked. There we go. And actually I kind of like the size of that one. And the larger they are, the longer it's going to take to engrave, but and actually I want to save room for my sunglasses. So let's set these over here to the side for right now. Go into my art library, and I've got some sunglasses here. Let's import that to the project, add graphic to project. There we go. Bring that up here. We're going to give him a little tilt, a little swagger. And do I want to bother with the overlapping? I don't know if we're not going to do that since we're not making that so prominent. We want the dude to be the prominent image here, and let's rack out a little more. We'll match that angle of those. I'm actually kind of liking that. I don't know that I want all the extra stars in there. All right, so we're just going to select those, delete those. All right, now my card is, or my design is 5x7. So let's create us a toolpath, select toolpath, and tell it dimensions of 5x7. That's 7 and 5. There we go. Now we're going to put it on the center. And now, actually, let's undo that center move first. Select, I got to do it so I can get all of it. There we go. Now group all that and shrink her down a bit because we already know it's too big. Bring that back to center. So there's our original birthday balloons. This will put it right in here. And then I can just put in here best wishes or happy birthday and personalize it there. Okay, so this image is 3x3 and it is a 1/2 inch from the outermost part of the card on the top and the bottom. Group all that, and align left. That gives me my 1/2 inch. Still not as, well, you know what? There's where I can use my stars. We're gonna make this a 3x3 toolpath. Select, and since I had it locked, I can just hit one time. Now we got a 3x3. Now we're gonna bring that and we're going to put it a line here, and no, make that one a line center. There we go. So I need to fill that entire area. You know what? This will be an opportunity to demonstrate a cool little trick. I haven't done this before, but I think it's going to work, and it's going to work out nice. So let's do. We're going to get rid of this, get rid of this, and get rid of this. Now, I like the overall size. We're going to zoom in a little closer. I like the overall size of that. It's got that space pretty well filled up. And we can see our lock dimensions here. But and we're going to keep that locked. And I'm going to make a copy of it, Control D. So now the copy is what's selected on top of the original. And I'm going to come up here and tell it to give me, let's go 80%. And now move that over here. Nice, just look at this toolpath. There we go. And actually, that wasn't enough. So I'm going to delete that, go back here, Control D, and let's do 75. Yeah, let's do 75, 50, and 25. So 75%. Move that one. And then Control D. Actually, no. Go back here to the original because I don't feel like doing the math right now. That one was 75. Let's make this one 50%. Oh no, we got to make the copy first. Control D. Told y'all I ain't never done this before. 50%. Move that one. And Control D and 25%. And move that one. So now those are staggered in increments of 25%. So kind of a, not really, but you know, it's, if I had some movement showing some lines showing motion, be like a shooting star. Let's get that one a little bit closer. Let's look at the preview and how long we're already looking at. All right, so this is already 37 minutes on the settings I have it already in here. So, what to do, what to do, what to do. All right, first let's lock our stars, group those together. Hit that last one. You're all grouped. Is that already grouped? Yep, that's already grouped. Now, like that, and group that, and now select that and tell it to center. There we go. All right, I think that's going to look good. I think that's enough for there. Now I just got to come down here and personalize that. Okay, so I'm satisfied with that. Now just down here to put a little personal message. We're going to do happy birthday, El Duderino. So El, come on. Undo. Why did you do that? Select, you go there. And we can change our font. El Duderino. And put that on a different path. Not that. Why do you keep going to there? Select now there. And let's put this on Broadway, I think. Maybe not. Playbill. So I'm trying not to make this where it's just a birthday card, something that you might have sitting out all the time. That's why I made birthday a little smaller. So it's to acknowledge the birthday, but hey, it's not, it's just, hey, he's the dude, El Duderino. So I thought about happy birthday, El Duderino, but then that re-emphasizes birthday. I'm kind of just liking that. Preview. Okay, that's an hour engrave, but I think I'm going to like that. Yeah, I think I'm going to like that. So let's get everything turned on, plugged up, get everything framed up. I'll use this outer toolpath to frame my entire project, and then I should have a really nice centered burn. So let me get over to the tool bed and get everything set up, and we'll start a burn. Okay, switched over to the handheld here for a second just to show you how, without a camera, without any elaborate tools, how I center my material like this for an engraving. Well, the first thing I do is I look to make sure that my honeycomb is centered in my framework, and the way I check to make sure that it is square with my xTool is I begin to just peek over the edge until I can see those cross hatches, and then I look to make sure those cross hatches are even all the way down. Forgive the shaking of the hand, but all the way down the rail there. And then I know that the bed is, and the xTool and the honeycomb are square just by eyeball. Once I got that square, then my honeycomb is actually pretty square if you look, and you got to make sure yours is too. The distance, that first row of honeycombs is just a little less than half, and it's uniform all the way down. So this honeycomb pattern is now fairly square to my xTool. So if I get that placed in here to where I've got the same amount of exposure of honeycomb, then I know that that is relatively square to the xTool. Then with my framing of the toolpath set to frame, I will click on frame twice. It gives me time to come over and check and make sure that it is burning right around that top perimeter all the way around. And that looks like it might be off just a little bit. Barely, about a 1/16 of an inch or so. So I'm going to move it over just a wee bit, and we're going to send it the job to the laser. Okay, so I feel good about that. I've put my pins in and locked her in place. I've already double checked my settings. Let's look at the preview. And that looks good. Looks like everything's going to burn. That gives me that funky little crosshatch in the stars. I'm going to have a real dark burn on the glasses. Yeah, I think I'm going to like that. It's an hour burn, but I don't have anything to do, and no jobs waiting. So let's send this to laser and see what we get. Okay, so we got her going. Now this is going to be an hour burn, And I'm going to do a real heavy burn on those glasses, so this is going to be generating a lot of smoke. So I've put on my Comgrow soft enclosure, which I have this is my homemade smoke evacuation system, which is just a semi-rigid flexible tube that I got at Lowe's, connected to a 4-inch inline fan that comes over and out through my window. I had this real fancy tool that could cut a nice hole in a piece of scrap and just ducted that right out the window. So we're going to button this up and let it do its thing, and come back in an hour and see what we got. So we just finished our first pass. Let's check our progress. Now we're starting our second pass on the crosshatch. Looking good. Let's close her up. Okay, so it's done the crosshatch. Now it's doing our line after fill on our text. Oh no, I forgot about this layer. So we did a crosshatch, a line after fill, and now we're doing flood fill to just go in and clean everything up, burn it all out, get rid of a lot of the soot. Once we do that, then it'll start the next layer. We'll come back to that. All right, so it looks like we got the stars done. Now we're working on our heavy burn on the glasses. This is going to be a deep, dark burn. I don't know if it's going to get much darker than the rest of it, but it's going to be deeper, exposing a lot of the subgrain in that ply. You can start to see there, see the textures. So that's going to have a different texture than this burn. These are going to have a different texture than the other. And I've got an idea on those since I got an extra pass on them and they ended up deeper than I wanted. I still might can make an even more unique finish with it. We'll see. So hang around. You want to see this finished product. Well, let's take a look and see what I did wrong here. I was so eager to do that checkerboard with my scan angle at only 33 degrees and the line interval to do that checkerboard. I failed to pay attention to the number of passes and to the power and speed. I got ahead of myself, wasn't thinking. So instead of a nice checkerboard that you saw starting to happen, it's burnt completely through. Let's see, there we go. So you can see the honeycomb under there. But I do have the nice deep burn there with the glasses, a different content of different textures with our other fills. I'm going to hand paint that, but I've got an idea on my stars. And because when my jobs are finished, my laser does not return to a home position bouncing off the rails, I send it to a fixed position of X and Y of 10 and 10. So now I can go right back over there and send that laser right back out. So I have not moved this material. It should do a burn right over the top of the others within a fraction. So I'm going to try a little something different with these stars and see if I can't do something different. So stay tuned and see what we make happen there. Okay, so I've got an idea on the stars to save well, it ended up being a complete cutout. I'm going to try something. I'm going to turn off our output and not bother showing either of these. I'm going to select these, arrange. If I lock the selected shapes, can I change from fill to a line? Yeah, all right. So I'm going to get rid of this sub layer, change that just to a line. I'm going to do 3 passes, 3 at 100%. Those are haven't moved, and okay. So what that's going to do is go right back over those stars and just do a real nice clean burn around the perimeter to clean up the edges, nice and tight. That gives me a nice clean outline to work with. Okay, so there's the finished product. Ended up using the little star cutouts. I had to add a little 3D, relief to it. So we've got the inlays, the very heavily deep engraved glasses with the contour showing, the CNC balloon and hats, and then painted. El Duderino. Got the first coats of clear lacquer on it now. We'll put a couple more on it, get it good and sealed. Then got just a simple easel cutout that's drying that'll be able to slide together and support El Duderino. So happy birthday, Austin.